The 2023 January transfer window has its first real major signing at last. Chelsea have recruited Portuguese star Joao Felix on a 6-month-long loan deal. Now again, that doesn't make it sound like the most glamorous deal in the world, and it should be told, given the circumstances surrounding the way the move came about, it isn't. But the simple fact of the matter is, Joao Felix is seen as a very, very big prospect for the future. In fact, even now is seen as one of the top players in his position in the world. So Chelsea signing him on a loan deal, still a massive bit of business that understandably a lot of their fans, myself included, are very, very happy about. But is this going to be one of those moves where what seems like a strategic, shrewd signing can turn out to be something that backfires massively? Well, that's exactly what it is that we are here to discuss in this particular video. Now, first off, let's address the more obvious question that most people would have, is that why did Chelsea feel the need to sign Joao Felix in the first place? Well, first things first, they've had a few injuries to key players, and that never obviously helps. Remember, currently they have 3 forwards out, in fact 4 forwards out with major injuries. So Armando Broja has been ruled out for the season, Christian Pulisic has been picked up a knock, Raheem Sterling is on the injured list, and so is Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. That is a lot of players to have on the bench, and obviously with the January transfer window open, Chelsea felt that it was the right time to actually bring in a new forward, even if it meant on a short-term loan deal, and that's exactly what has happened. The second is that, the fact that he was available on a loan deal. Again, Joao Felix is one of those players who's among the top players, or seen as someone who can be among the top players in the world. The fact that he was available on a loan deal due to the fact that he had fallen out with Atletico Madrid manager Diego Simeone and was quite clearly pushing for a move, meant that the deal, even considering the money at offer, which is supposed to be that Chelsea will be covering all of his wages and will be paying a 10 million euro loan deal or loan fee to Atletico Madrid, and there's no obligation to buy. All in all, does present itself as being a fairly decent deal, and perhaps more importantly is the fact that Felix is already a very good player but is seen as someone who has potential that is yet to be unlocked, which means he could very well become an all-time great player, not just be a very good one. So obviously there are some interesting benefits to signing Joao Felix that extend to more than just the fact that he has world-class potential. First off, he adds a clear amount of goals and assists to this Chelsea team, which, to be fair, is severely lacking in both departments. Now, obviously, it's not just one thing about signing a player and then them being transformative, but it is good to have a player like that in your club who can, in fact, actually add, to the output of the team. Because again, football is a low-scoring sport, so someone who can be a guaranteed goal and assist maker is always going to be a welcome. And perhaps more importantly, he can be the forward that Chelsea feel that they need. Again, remember, Chelsea have had some issues with regards to playing pure strikers in recent times, and Felix might just fill the void in that regard, because he's not really a pure striker. He's someone who can roam and rove around the field and create goals and get opportunities to score. So he would add a lot more creativity and goals to a lineup that has the potential, just like he does, of producing more creativity and getting more goals. What's more important is the fact that Chelsea have made a few signings during this particular transfer window, but most of them have been players who quite clearly are being signed with an eye on the long term. Felix is someone who adds an instant boost, an instant injection of quality to the first team, and that's something that is very much needed, considering the fact that Chelsea in recent times have been absolutely down in the doldrums. You need a signing like that to uplift morale, uplift the mood around the club. That can happen with both players as well as, more importantly, the fans. But having said all of that, there are some obvious risks which are attached to the move as well, and it's important that we acknowledge them. First off is the fact that he didn't really fit into the Atletico Madrid system, and that is a key problem when it comes down to it, is that you can't really define Joao Felix's best position. What is his best position? You don't really know for sure, because quite frankly, he can play as a number 10, he could be played out on the wings, he could be played as a false nine, a proper striker, a second striker. He doesn't have one good position. That can be both a problem and something that's actually really good for, the team. So he didn't fit in Atletico, obviously, because he's a very attack-minded player, and Atletico were, generally speaking, very defensive. But it does say a lot that he couldn't perhaps adjust to the demands that manager Diego Simeone had of him. The other major criticism is the fact that despite someone who has very high peaks, he also tends to go through periods where he doesn't really contribute much in terms of goals and assists. He's not yet a consistent player, and consistency is one of those things that really separates a good player from a great player. Joao Felix, as of now, is a very good player, but not necessarily a great player. And the third and perhaps biggest worry is that he may struggle to fit into Chelsea's system, because as we've seen, there have been a lot of players who come into the Chelsea team, they try and kind of operate within the structure that Chelsea are trying to bring about, and they struggle. You've seen it happen with Timo Werner, you've seen it happen with Romelu Lukaku, you've seen it happen with Tammy Abraham as well. All of these players, though, once they left Chelsea, have suddenly started to shine a lot more. Hell, even a Hakim Ziyech did so well for Morocco in the World Cup, yet is not considered good enough to even be starting for the Chelsea team. And that should tell you all that there is to be told, really, is the fact that Chelsea have a problem when it comes to their attacking output and being able to both create and score chances. Obviously, signing someone like him in that regard then may well be a big, positive as well, but it could create a risk. What if you end up stifling Joao Felix as well? That doubtless is the question that a lot of people, a lot of fans in particular, would have in their mind. And let's be fair, it's a very legitimate concern. Having kept all of that in mind, though, it's still very hard to see this as anything but a bonus for Chelsea, given the fact that, as I said, the club needed a bit of an uplift. It got it. They've gotten someone who's a proven goal scorer, can get you assists, someone who's a very creative player, and potentially with the ability to become a world-class generational talent. That is something that can only be seen as a positive, and truth be told, if he does really well on the loan move, then securing a move away from him won't be too much of a problem, given the fact that Atletico and Joao Felix both don't really want their union to be continuing as things stand. So in that regard, this is something that does go down in one of those things where you can say, okay, this is relatively risk-free, and even if it doesn't work out for Chelsea, they can just send him back to Atletico. Truth be told, Felix has more to lose from this particular move than Chelsea do. So in that sense, it's one of those moves where you just have to laud and hope that it really works out, and doubtless Chelsea fans will be hoping for the fact that this move works out very well for them, because as I said, there is a world-class player there just waiting to be unleashed in Joao Felix, and Chelsea fans will be hoping that this club is the place where he realizes set potential. At least that's how I feel about things. What do you guys think? Well, you can let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to like the video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and tap the bell icon so you know when we're going live or uploading a new video for you guys. Then you can also go ahead and follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And last but not least, download the AajTak app. Thank you all once again for joining us. As always, I hope you enjoy what it is that we do on this channel. I hope to see you with us on more videos that we do in the future. But for now, goodbye.